In the headlines, Army takes responsibility for airstrike in Kaduna. 5 burned to death, 11 wounded in Akwa Ibom auto crash. DMO opens offer for federal government savings bonds for December at 13.28% interest. On the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau president dissolved parliament after clashes. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining me. And now the news in full. The Nigerian army has claimed responsibility for the bombing of villagers during a Maulud Nabi celebration at Tudunbiri in Egebi local government area of Kaduna State. The army, however, said the airstrikes were inadvertent, saying operatives were targeting terrorists. About 30 residents were feared dead in the airstrikes on Sunday night. The Commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Kaduna State, Samuel Arwan, said in a statement on Monday that the Army has claimed responsibility for the unfortunate incident. Arwan, in a statement, said at a meeting presided over by the Deputy Governor, Hadiza Sabwa Balarabi, which had in attendance heads of security agencies, religious and traditional leaders, the Nigerian Army explained the circumstances which led to the unfortunate and unintended attack. He quoted the general officer commanding one division, Nigerian Army, Major Vu Okoro, as saying that the Nigerian Army was on a routine mission against terrorists but inadvertently affected members of the community. It further stated that the deputy governor at the end of the closed-door meeting conveyed condolences of the government and people of Kaduna State to the families that lost their loved ones. Earlier, the Nigerian Air Force has dismissed claims that its aircraft accidentally bombed some villages in Kaduna State. Director of Public Relations and Information NAV Air Commodore Edward Gabquet dismissed the report in a statement on Monday. Gabquet said NAV had not carried out any air operations within Kaduna State and its environs in the last 24 hours. He added that NAV is not the only organization operating combat armed drones in the northwestern region of Nigeria. The statement urged the media to ensure that due diligence is always exhausted before going to press with unverified and unconfirmed reports. In the meantime, efforts to get rid of criminal activities across Nasarawa State have continued to yield results as the State Police Command has arrested 18 suspects for allegedly committing different offences. Acting Commissioner of Police Shatima Mohammed stated this while parading the suspect in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented from our studio.
Recent communities across the state. The police command in Nasarawa State has sustained efforts towards the actualization of a crime-free state. This is evident in the breakthrough the command made in recent times by arresting 18 suspects who allegedly commit different crimes in different parts of the state. Acting State Commissioner of Police Shatima Mohammed told journalists that these suspects were arrested with 7 assorted firearms and ammunition.
10 kidnappers arrested. We have 5. Number of armed robbery suspects arrested 10. Number of rape cases arrested 1. Suspected arrested for culpable homicide we have 2. Number of recovered firearms 7. Number of recovered ammunition 27. Total number of suspects arrested in total 18.
The acting commissioner of police explained that among the various crimes that led to the arrest of the suspects was the serving and killing of one Mohammed Sani by his family members.
Based on credible information that one Mohammed Sani M of Gyaraku, Tofa was tied on both hands and legs, locked in a room where he was starved to death, and he was hurriedly by his family buried him in a shallow grave without the knowledge of the security agencies, without the knowledge of the police.
Mohammed explained that a 21-year-old Habu Yusuf was apprehended for defiling a 5-year-old minor, adding that in the course of investigation, the same suspect was found to have sexually molested 2 of his nieces. He said the suspect would be charged to court after completion of investigations. The acting commissioner maintained that the command would continue to collaborate with other security agencies to keep crime and criminals out of the state.
Vandals have continued to loot the Oshobo Steel Rolling Company despite its privatization by the federal government. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Ishaq Mohammed, said some of the vandals were apprehended with armored cables and other items looted from the company. Hamid Oibadi reports.
After the privatization policy of the federal government, the hope of the people of Osun State was that the moribund steel rolling company in Oshobo will bounce back and contribute to the economic growth, especially by generating employment opportunities for the youths. But the hope was dashed as the company remains inactive several years after the privatization, with residents calling for a review of the policy. Meanwhile, funders are taking the advantage of the situation to loot the company. I followed someone to the place. It was when we got there that he told me that we came to steal armored cables. We went to the steel rolling company to steal cables and wires. It's my first time of going with them. On Saturday, that was 3 days ago, I went to the steel rolling company at 4 a.m. to steal those cables. While returning from the place, I saw policemen who shot the tire of my car. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Ishaq Mohammed, said the suspects will be charged to court upon the completion of investigation.
Of course, they have accepted, they have confessed their offense. Investigation is ongoing. They mentioned some other people. We are on their trail, and they will soon be arrested and charged to court.
The residents are hoping that the federal government will review the privatization policy and make the company function again. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshobo.
In the meantime, 5 persons have been confirmed dead and 11 others injured in a fatal auto crash along the Calabar-Itu Highway in Cross River State. The accident was between a Nissan Caravan with a registration number GWB532XY and a Mack truck with no registration number. The statement this was according to a statement issued by the Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Akwa Ibom Command, Matthew Olonisai. The statement signed by the Public Enlightenment Officer of the Command, Paul James, attributed the cause of the accident to speeding, adding that the accident could have been avoided if the motorist had adhered to safety regulations. Now, away from that, a diesel tanker on Monday went off in flames at the Ojota Edward interchange. The incident has been confirmed by the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, via X handle. LASMA stated that its personnel had been deployed to the scene. At the time of filing this report, the cause of the explosion as well as the level of casualty remains unknown. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service also confirmed the incident, noting that the flames had been brought under control. Nigeria's tertiary institutions continue to face mounting challenges linked to a decline in the quality of education and productivity in the subsector. Manpower shortages and welfare-related issues are further compounding the already critical situation as stakeholders put the spotlight on the federal government while calling for a robust action plan to reform the system. Habiba Dajai reports.
Education remains the leading indicator of how well a country is growing and developing as Nigeria continues to play catch-up due to its falling education system. The current JAPA phenomenon has seen a surge in the numbers of Nigerian lecturers leaving the country in search of better pay and service conditions abroad. Labor-related concerns and gaps in effective management have seen Nigeria lose thousands of well-trained academics over the years.
It is no longer a news that there is a shortage, but let me put it, there is equally what I can call acute shortage. Yeah, and if the situation was not remedied in a quick time, it will get to a level that you'll be having programs that has students, and they will just discover one day they don't have any lecturer in their program.
The way and manner government handled the last strike, in particular, every other strike, but particularly the last strike, actually outraged many of our colleagues. We felt and we still feel highly mistreated, shabbily treated, manhandled and so on.
Professor Umar Kari emphasizes the necessity for government's commitment and accountability while urging parents to take a leading role in advocating better service delivery as students ultimately face the repercussions of a failed system.
Parents should have to brace up. They are going to pay through their noses. Parents demonstrated unbelievable lack of understanding towards ASU and what ASU stands for. And now they are going to bear the brunt of it because right from the period that the strike collapsed, okay, that was about a year ago, okay, to now, fees charged by public universities have increased. Some have doubled, some tripled, and the thing will only get worse.
Year in, year out, we may likely be producing students that are not having the right skills to turn around the economy. Indirectly, the government just needs to understand the concept of investment in education.
The nexus between quality education and economic progress has been well established, and if Nigeria is to make significant progress in repositioning the trajectory of the most populous black nation in the world, the time for the action is long overdue. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is Trust TV News Update. Coming up ahead. Kankia residents lament alleged underpayment by Transmission Company of Nigeria. Details of that and more after the break. Do stay with us.
That's right. You too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Welcome to Trust TV, where we document the Nigerian story. Our programming showcases the rich culture and diversity of Nigeria. We strive to amplify the voices that make our nation unique. Our programming is designed to take you on a journey through the different tastes of entertainment in our country. We showcase the best of Nigerian culture, from traditional craft to cutting-edge technology. Our team of expert journalists are dedicated to unveiling the intricacies of our culture and telling the untold stories that binds us all. And let's not forget the food. Nigeria has diverse and flavorful cuisines, some of the favorites to millions across the world. What is Nigeria without its people, their passions and their talent? Trust TV is not just a channel, it's a platform that brings you closer to everything that makes Nigeria great. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of some of our top stories. Army takes responsibility for airstrike in Kaduna. And 5 burned to death, 11 wounded in Akwa Ibom auto crash. Now to other stories. One of the setbacks of the last administration in Benue State under former Governor Samuel Otum was the irregularity in the payment salaries and pensions. 6 months into the administration of Governor Alia, Benue residents say the story has changed, as Jimmy Azandi now reports.
One of the cardinal points of Governor Alia's inaugural speech was the pledge to provide fresh air for serving and retired civil servants.
To all Benue workers, please listen to me. Yes. All verified arrears of salaries, pensions, and gratuity are paid promptly without further delay.
According to residents, the governor has made good that promise as he is giving the workers their dues accordingly.
Outcry of what we were facing before during the previous administration discovered that a lot were not well with civil servants. They were suffering various kinds of stress. The payment of salary were not due. Some months we wait till the months will end after 3 months before we will be able to see something. And even if they paid, there will be a lot of deductions in it. But right now, what we have seen is a kind of God has here outcry, and there is a lot of positive changes.
My mother, who is a pensioner, her sole responsibility was me. Understand? I used to take her hospital bills, her everything, though it is stated. It is my duty to look after my mother. But we all know that as a worker, she has pension. There's a special scheme, specially designed for them to be taken care of. The past administration really failed woefully in that it did not pay these people a dime. For 4 years, 4 solid years, they went unpaid. And all that burden was on me. But what is happening now? The first time this administration came in, the first month, they were paid 2 salaries, two of their pension in 1 month.
For the working class and retirees of the Benue State, the situation has improved, save for the current cost of living occasioned by fuel subsidy removal and high inflation rates, which has strained workers' purchasing power. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Residents of Kankia in Kaduna State have lamented what they described as gross shortage on the payment of compensation by the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, which mounted heavy equipment on their lands. Some of them are alleging that the TCN had, over the last 8 to 10 years, mounted heavy towers on their plot without proper compensation. Abdullahi Ahmadi, who recently visited Kankia, reports that the residents are alleging irregularities, a lack of proper assessment and compensation to the affected people. His report.
Over 300 houses have been affected by the 300 kVA transmission line, which houses residents who are mostly voiceless, poor, and low-income earners. They alleged that the compensation paid to some of the affected people cannot even pay 1 year rent, let alone buy another house for them.
There is one person who carries out his petty business in the southern part of the country. He knew that if he joined a bus or a vehicle, definitely there was every tendency for him to miss the payment. But he joined an airplane to Kano. From there he took a drop to Kaduna, which costed him more than 100,000 naira. Unfortunately, when he reached there, he was given 9,370 naira as his compensation. There are so many households who received less than 10,000 naira as their compensation.
My house is at least getting to 2 to 2.5 million, but now they give me at least 1,040,000, which is not enabling me to build another house.
Besides taking longer than the necessary time to settle the affected people, residents are blaming TCN for conniving with some elements in Kankia to shortchange the victims and are therefore calling on relevant authorities to intervene. Though the affected people are not against the 300 kVA transmission line project, all they are demanding is the review of the assessments and payments to ensure justice and fairness. Most of the affected people here are confused and afraid of the unknown, as they have been subjected to untold hardship for close to a decade. Among them is this widow and this visually impaired person with dozens of children under their care.
A tower was constructed in the house and inherited from my late husband, and TCN said I have not been captured because my name is missing from the list. I don't know what to do now because I am an orphan and my husband died, leaving me behind with over 13 dependents. I appeal to you to tell our governor, as well as members of the state and national assemblies, to prevail on TCN to do the needful.
As for me, I was paid 66,000 naira only for my two houses that are affected by the transmission line project. This means that for each house, I was paid 33,000 naira compensation, which is grossly inadequate for me to pay rent anywhere in Kankia town. Kindly forward our appeal to Governor Dikorada to intervene and save us from this situation. The Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN Kaduna State Office, through its human resource personnel, said they are not authorized to speak to the press and advised Trust TV News to channel relevant questions to its headquarters in Abuja. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Kaduna.
The Debt Management Office DMO on Monday offered two federal government of Nigeria savings bonds for subscription at 1,000 naira per unit. The first offer is a 2-year FGN Savings Bond due on December 13, 2025 at an interest rate of 12.287 per unit. The second offer is a 3-year FGN Savings Bond due on December 13, 2026 at an interest rate of 13.287% per annum. The opening date for both offers is December 4th, while the closing date is December 8th, according to the DMO. The settlement date is December 13th, while coupon payments dates are March 13th, June 13th, September 13th, and December 13th. The DMO assured that the bonds, like all other FGN securities, were backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government and charged upon the general assets of Nigeria. Away from Nigeria, the president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Embalo, on Monday issued a decree dissolving the parliament after an attempted coup in the West African nation. Violence had erupted between members of the National Guard and special forces of the Presidential Guard on Thursday night in the capital, Bissau, leaving 2 people dead before the army ordered its forces back to barracks. Embalo, who was in Dubai attending the COP28 climate conference, arrived back in Bissau on Saturday and announced that an attempted coup d'etat had prevented him from returning earlier on Monday. He said there had been complicity between the National Guard and certain political interests within the state apparatus. The date of forthcoming legislative elections will be set at the opportune moment, aligned with the Constitution, Embalo said in a communique. Since gaining independence from Portugal in 1974, the country has seen a series of coups and coup attempts. Elected to a 5-year term in December 2019, Embalo survived a bid to overthrow him in February 2022. And finally, on sports news, teenage Kano Pillars sensation Yusuf Abdullahi on Sunday scored 5 goals in a Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) away game against Gombe United. The match day 11 fixture of the NPFL 2023 to 2024 season played at Pantami Township Stadium, Gombe. So the 2019 Nigerian FA champions thrashed the home team 5-2 with 18-year-old Abdullahi scoring all 5 goals for the visitors. Abdullahi was one of the youth team players promoted to the senior team ahead of the 2023-2024 season after the club's temporary ban on signing new players. After the youngest scintillating performance, the technical advisor of Kano Pillars, Abdullahi Maikaba, said Abdullahi's performance deserves a call up to the Nigerian youth team. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.